Hi. I had a privilege meeting with Dennis Catford, one of the brilliant minds in the medical research for over 20 years. Mr. Dennis started as a medical researcher for 25 years in pharmaceutical, then 25 years with his own clinic, using only diet, nutrition, and herbs to treat illnesses that medicine couldn't help. With great success, he was published in the medical journal by a professor of medicine from the University of Michigan, who analyzed his clinic and said it was the best treatment he had seen in 30 years of practicing medicine. I hope this talk moves you in some ways and be your best self. Without further ado, please enjoy Mr. Dennis Catford.
I got it from my dad. I'm in good shape for the shape I'm in.
Unbelievable.
I had 74 in sport. So that's unusual. I'm a, what do you call it? A master of none. So I can do every type of sport. To illustrate, I had a buddy I met.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, we got to play tennis. I said, okay. He said, but I have to warn you, I was taught by a professional.
So he was taught by a professional?
Yeah.
So he has to warn you?
Yeah.
He's like 15 years younger
15 years younger.
So he should be faster, stronger?
So he was 60 at the time, and I was or just below that. And
yeah.
Anyway, I slaughtered him.
You finished him?
I beat him pretty bad. So I had to start teaching him a few things. So he could...
That must be embarrassing, yeah?
I wasn't taught by a pro. I just learned on my own.
I mean, first of all, he came to you showing off.
Yeah.
And then you end up actually, destroying him, at the end. Yeah. So that must be pretty bad.
Well, I'm just a natural athlete, but don't ask me to fix the fridge.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
So then, how did you get into
healthcare?
Yeah,
Better now than I ever did. My background is healthcare for 50 years, and I was knew that there is a better option for health, and that option is diet, nutrition, and herbs. So I saw some of the things that were lacking that you needed help with in patients. So after leaving pharmaceuticals, I opened my own clinic with a partner, and we started treating people with hard-to-treat illnesses and that medicine couldn't take care of, and specifically fibromyalgia, because that was the worst. There was no drugs for it. And we brought in a professor from the University of Michigan to my clinic, and after the first patient we treated, she was using a walker. She was around 40. She couldn't walk without a walker. And I said she won't need that in a few months. 2 months later, she didn't need the walker. And he said in 30 years of practicing medicine, he had never seen the improvements that he saw in our clinic. He was shocked. I said, well, it's not rocket science, just diet, nutrition, and herbs. And that's how we get people better. And he said, how come I don't know about this? I said, well, the drug companies aren't going to tell you. They want you on a medication that you have to take every day for the rest of your life. So we found that by diet, nutrition, and coaching, we use nurses to coach and walk them through it. But I laid out all the plan. I'm a researcher. So we published it in a medical journal, and people are, it's the highest improvement of any study. It's in every university in North America. So their diet, that's the key, as you know. And one of the things we also do, this information is not new. It's been around for 100 years, but because of being a researcher, I checked everything out. I found doctors who were open to this type of treatment, and they helped. There's still doctors that still use drugs, but most of the time you don't need medications. I mean, I'm not anti-medication if you need it, but if you don't need it, why would you not try to get your improved health where it's easier to follow? Absolutely. Just by following your diet, not being stuck taking pills all the time. Now, most people have to take good nutrition.
They have to take nutrition?
Yeah,
okay.
And to support their diet, because not everything can be covered by diet. So nutritional supplements help, and of course, one of the most important ones you're looking at, many countries that have is, like for instance, moringa. Moringa has 92 nutrients in it, so
nice.
It's better than any multivitamin.
You mean moringa as in the
plant.
As in the plant?
Yeah, I can't handle the taste of the plant. A lot of people in Africa can.
Oh yeah? Okay, but tell me, right, when it comes to moringa, how can one take it to actually reap the actual benefit? Because it's been prepared.
Yeah, I don't like the taste of it.
Yeah, it comes like in powder form, where you mix it either in coffee or like smoothie, like your breakfast. But in Africa, how would you prepare it? And
you can make it, put it into food and stuff like that. But you have to be careful. If you take too much, your body has to adjust. It may. So I find because it gives so much energy, you take it in the morning and at bedtime. Okay. So like I take a couple capsules in the morning, and even organic moringa, but because I don't like the taste, and the majority don't. But some of the strains aren't the best tasting here that we get. But that's just part of the program. If you have health issues, as you know with yourself, I helped you with your health.
Absolutely, yeah.
I found that the medicine wasn't helping you.
The doctors, also kind of couldn't figure out what's wrong with me. But I know that I wasn't well. Something wasn't right because I kept losing weight, actually.
It took, certain things took longer, but right away a couple things happened fairly quick for you, as you know. One of the first things I take care of is infections.
The infection, okay. So there was a few infections.
Well, I know if the doctors can't pick it up, that's a lot of the stuff they do, they can't pick up because a lot of times it's viruses.
Viruses, okay. It's like a worm.
A parasite.
Parasite,
yeah.
The parasite, they say that was supposed to clear that,
but it didn't help.
But it didn't help somehow because I was still feeling miserable. I was lethargic. I was exhausted. I go to work, but physically I'm at work, but not really, not really functioning as a human.
Right. Well, the Western medicine does not go to the underlying cause. They try to treat the symptoms. And sometimes the medicine is worse than what you have because it does adversely affect your gut ecology. Whenever you have, it doesn't matter what health issue, it's all here. Depression, Parkinson's disease, you name it, it's here. I've treated people with it, and the doctors are prescribing pills for this, but it actually is a gut issue. It's all in medical literature now. But I was doing this over 20 years ago. And I went through the medical literature because I'm a researcher, and the nutritional literature. I went through 25,000 medical abstracts.
Wow.
I'm a stickler for what really works, and I was taught how to read medical studies and so on. So I know when something is snowing me and what isn't, what is really works and what doesn't. So I went through all that, and that's what we used in our clinic. And then we were able to help patients with one of the most severe illnesses of fibromyalgia. The first thing you do is you treat the viruses or the infections that they have because of issues with the gut ecology, which is mainly your small intestine. So in the small intestine, it's about 23 feet long. And when you lay it flat, it will cover between a tennis court and a basketball court.
Wow.
So that's your surface area because you have villi, which are finger-like projections. You have over 100 trillion of them. And nutrients...
100 trillion?
Over 100 trillion, yeah. And nutrients are supposed to go through the top of there's a little spot there where nutrition goes in. But when you have issues with your health, aggravated by antibiotics, chemicals, bad diet, in fact, instead of this little spot for the nutrients to go in, you have ulcerations. So the ulcerations are here and here. This is called the tight junctions. These are villi, and so you need to get the nutrients in, but what's happening is people, through their bloodstream, are instead of little nutrients because of the ulcerations, huge pieces of food are getting into the bloodstream. So when you were tired, super tired, falling asleep talking to me, that was food allergy.
Oh yes. So okay. So that meat, falling asleep was all food allergy.
Oh yeah. Right away I took you off dairy. So the dairy we have here isn't the biblical dairy or the dairy in a farm where you take it right from the cow. It's processed. Once it's processed, it's no longer milk. It's a different commodity.
You know what? I need to actually, let them know. By the way, the first time I met, met with Dennis. Okay, Every time I consult, with Dennis, our first 5-10 minutes, I fall asleep, But yes, how did you fix that?
I took off dairy.
Okay, so all he did was
to reduce that.
Wow.
And that's because what happens when you are falling asleep, that's because these villi and the tight junctions here, there's holes, and it slips into your bloodstream. Because from your mouth to your rear end, that's not, technically that's outside of your body. It's just a pipe. But when you absorb into your body, you're getting problems. So it's as if the toilet is backing up, the plumbing is backing up, and it gets into your house. You got to go and clean that up to allow that poop to go through the system and not into your house. So the same with your body. This is a pipe, slips into your bloodstream. Your bloodstream has to digest your food. So when the bloodstream digests your food, you become tired, because anytime you eat a big meal, you lack energy because you've just eaten a big meal, because your body is all the enzymes and everything else is trying to digest that food. So as it's digesting it, you're tired, not normally, but that's supposed to be in your gut, not in your bloodstream. So when it hits your bloodstream, these chemicals are released, cytokines and other things that have to absolutely digest it. There's lots of chemicals that do that in your body, but they're not supposed to be. Strictly supposed to be in your digestive system, so that's why you're so tired. Because food particles, in this case dairy, slips into your bloodstream because it's processed in such a way, it's pasteurized. Well, pasteurization kills the enzymes. So drinking right from a cow, you're not going to have an issue. But when you go through that process, it's no longer the same food that God made, basically. It's man-made. And so your body can't handle it, and then you get tired because it's physically trying to do that. So when you go off the product you have an issue with, it takes 4 days basically to be out of your system. Now sometimes dairy can take up to 2 weeks, but you notice the difference by the 5th day. So any food, the main ones here are wheat, dairy, wheat, corn, eggs. Those can all present an issue. And also if you have a defect in your gut. So the whole idea is to go off the food. It's the same as if you have a fire and you add gasoline to it, it gets bigger. So you can put water on it, but once you've added gasoline, it makes it really hard to get away from that fire. So the same with your food. If you ate food that you're allergic to, that gets through the little perforations in your bowel, it's called leaky gut syndrome. That's the common term. The technical term is intestinal hyperpermeability. That's a medical term. Anyway, so that's all it means. You're leaking particles of food into your bloodstream. And the only way to cure it is not by herbs, not by nutrition, not by homeopathy. Avoid that food. So food avoidance is the key. Now, it can happen even in farm communities where you don't have the chemicals we have here, because you may have had an infection that puts holes in your gut and creates an imbalance in your body, and you have to correct the balance. And the best way is to find out what food you have an issue with that causes tiredness, arthritis, and so on. So anybody that I would treat with for infections or with arthritis, for instance, which you wouldn't think is food, the two main problems are, and it's in the medical literature, but doctors don't read the medical literature, is foods and an infection. So you clear up the infection right away with colloidal silver or black seed oil, which they have plenty of that in Africa, I'm sure, because originally the plant comes from India. So those two, you go on it for about 2 weeks. Black seed oil, a teaspoon a day for about 2 weeks. And that clears the underlying infection.
Okay, so now you talk about black seed oil.
Yes.
And colloidal silver.
Colloidal
okay,
silver.
So now, I believe that the black seed oil, yes, that's definitely, it is in Africa.
Yeah.
So that is also one of the oil that we'll make the notes, we'll get the note down so that, whoever, interest can actually, look down and actually look up for it.
Yeah.
The colloidal silver.
Yeah.
The colloidal silver is one of my main concerns because I don't think we know it much in Africa. Yeah. How does one prepare it if you cannot find it?
You can buy kits here in North America. and send it there. Different prices, probably closer to $300 from the U.S. There's some kits, and you have to. What you buy is usually nanoparticles, so the nano will take care of it, just like it'll take care of COVID, and so will ivermectin, which is another product because it's anti-parasitical. That's huge in Africa. So ivermectin is great if you have parasites or anything like that. So that's probably one of the best. Black seed oil will too.
Okay, so we're gonna make a note of all this, those nutritionals that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So okay, can one prepare colloidal silver on their own?
Yes.
Okay.
You buy a kit. You just buy a kit and use distilled water.
Okay, so what you do is now distilled water.
Yes.
And what else?
That's it, and then you have it'll be a coil or whatever of silver, and you put it in, electrically charge it, and then you have it within a short time.
Because I believe that the colloidal silver actually works really well. It's more effective than most.
It's better than any antibiotic. In fact,
yes.
study in Japan a year ago, December, when we're in December, absolutely proved that when you make it nano. It destroys COVID. It destroys 650 different viruses and bacterial and fungal infections. So it's great. But so is black seed oil.
Yeah.
So you got two great products. They're phenomenal, inexpensive, and that's why they're not used. And that's why, for instance, colloidal silver has been banned in Europe, as far as I understand. So those are two things that they want you to depend on medicine. But you don't have to depend on the medical doctor anymore, do you?
I got
as long as you stick to the diet.
I got you. I stick to the diet, absolutely. Okay, and then Dennis, before meeting you also, one of the issues that I'm actually facing within myself was also my liver. I had this issue that the liver tends to kind of produce more enzyme.
How's your eyes now?
It's clear.
Yeah.
I don't need the glasses. You can tell, right?
Yeah.
My eyes are clear, my skin are clear, and you also fixed my liver.
Yes, we did a
So now
detox.
tell me, what was the process? What did you do to my liver? Because now I have a bowel system. I go.
You're regular now.
I'm regular.
So I work with you on improving your bowels. Okay, and also with we had you on milk thistle, right?
Yeah.
NAC.
Yeah.
N-Acetyl-cystine.
Yeah.
N-Acetyl-cystine is an amino acid. It's the absolute best thing for detoxifying the liver. For instance, in the hospitals here, if there's somebody who has Tylenol poisoning or acetaminophen, the only thing that can reverse it, they use it in the hospital every day, is intravenous NAC or N-Acetyl-cystine. Because it's so good, they're going to ban it in the States, the FDA, because they don't want drug companies want exclusive on it, and it works for tons of things. It helps your health. I use it for detox. If somebody gets COVID, that's one of the things we use, and post-vaccine, it's great for that too, for detoxing. So NAC can be used for, there's about 30-40 indications. It's better than aspirin for stroke, post-stroke. It'll help. It can be used intravenous in the hospital. They don't use it, but it's in the medical literature. So you got N-Acetyl-cystine. Then one of the other things I use is Serrapeptase. There's 3 or 4 good proteolytic enzymes which help to clean up the body and health. And another one, the Serrapeptase is one of my favorites. It helps with diabetes, and so that's one of the things you use because it works on the pancreas. So you've got, and it will help with the liver, but it's mostly for just going up like a rotor-rooter, chewing up things that don't belong in your bloodstream and helping. But if you have a poor diet, nothing's better than getting your diet fixed and not eating junk food and so on.
Yeah, because
sugar.
With sugar, absolutely. Because my result actually came when last week.
Okay.
And then the doctor called me saying, "Hey, Ali, I got your results, and everything is fine. Why do we even? What's wrong with you, by the way?" So tell me about it.
It's all good nutrition. That's all. You're taking the moringa, right?
Yeah.
And NAC is clearing up. You're on Serrapeptase. Okay, plus good for better eating, avoiding the things that cause you the issues. Dairy.
Because that was the first thing he checked. He said, "Look, Ali, I did your testosterone and I did your liver.
Yeah.
I did and the B12 and you name it. He runs Bob and my liver and this is so many different tests that he did last week.
And you've normalized.
So I was kind of worried. I was wanting to see what's going to happen when the result comes with all this medication that she put me on. I've been regular on this.
Nutritional supplements will help normalize.
And then he said to me, listen, I'm concerned that your testosterone are quite high. So is this something to worry? Because for him, so I said to him, look, doctor, what does that mean? Should I worry? Or no? She said, no, you don't have to worry, and we just need to know why.
Well, they don't really want to know why, because if you tell him nutrition, he won't believe it. So, because that's how they're taught. They're not taught to use nutrition. They're used to using duct tape, as I call it, medicine to poke, cover up holes or whatever, duct tape here, duct tape there, rather than treating the underlying cause. That's just the way medicine thinks. Alternative and complementary medicine gets to the underlying cause. And that's what I'm always trying to do, get to what is really your issue, and it's always diet, nutrition. So you can fix almost anything that way. In fact, I had a physician tell me, if we can treat fibromyalgia, you can treat anything. And so he sent us an MS patient. I've treated multiple sclerosis patients, and they've gotten better because it's an infection, but they're not aware of it. They don't read the medical literature. That's what I do. I'm a researcher. Like I said, I published.
And now, Dennis, I have a problem back in Africa where I have my three brothers. They all suffering with this. Is it a stroke? Okay, three. Unfortunately I lost one.
Oh boy.
Now I left with two. They all having issues,
Are they older than you?
Okay. So they all have issues, they going through the same. So
have they adopted a Western diet?
I don't think they've ever been on Western diet, and they've really never been on any diet. So they're not on any kind of diet. They just live on day to day. Eating whatever it is that comes along, like our normal average diet. Which is the very basic carbohydrate.
Carbohydrates. The first thing I do. Just had a woman who had a stroke. And I got after the hospital. I said, why don't you put her on, they were just going to put her on aspirin, which isn't that great. And I said, why don't you put her on NAC, N-Acetyl-cystine. They knew nothing about it. So I sent them the medical literature.
So what do we do? That's the first thing now. I need to actually,
Serrapeptase is the other.
What do we do? How are they going to get NAC back in Africa?
It's hard
because, this talk now is for you, Said. You can hear from the doctor's mouth now that you need to go on Serrapeptase and NAC. So that's NAC and Serrapeptase. If you can't get
Serrapeptase, you get nattokinase is another one.
What is it again?
Nattokinase.
Natto,
N-A-T-O, kinase. It's another enzyme. Serrapeptase is from Serrapeptase is from silkworm, so it doesn't harm your body. It's like when they get out of the cocoon and become a butterfly. So if you take the Serrapeptase, you won't become a butterfly, but your health will be improved. And because it goes around chewing up the fibrin and other things that cause fibrinogen, which causes can contribute to stroke. And lots of things that are in there, the blood isn't flowing properly. And one of the worst things for that, once again, is food allergy, leaky gut syndrome, and then the cytokines, immunoglobulins come in to try, and they become part of the problem. So our immune system goes into overdrive and trying to eliminate what's ever in that bloodstream, and sometimes you can get sideswiped, you end up with a stroke and so on. So there's lots of things that contribute to it, but clean up with a diet. Carbohydrates is one of the things that I take everybody off. I just had a diabetic who had a stroke, put her on Serrapeptase, NAC, a lot of other nutritional supplements that will help reduce, she has diabetes as well. Got her to lose 65 pounds, and now she's, by dropping all those pounds, and she's in great shape. She was in a wheelchair, bedridden.
One second. That is profound. We're going to go deeper into that.